Hi guys! I thought today that we could do a little Q&A because I have been posting videos for a while on TikTok and on YouTube, and I thought that I would actually finally sit down and do a Q&A because as much as I talk about myself on the internet literally all the time, I've never actually done an official Q&A. Like, I'll answer questions sometimes on TikTok, or like when I get DMs or something, like I'll answer questions, but I've never really I don't know, talk that much about myself. So I thought it'd be fun to finally do a little Q&A and really explain who I am, and I don't know, you guys can get to know me a little bit better. I like to think of everyone who watches my videos as like my best friend, and I think it's weird that you guys don't know me that well, so I thought this is a good way for you guys to get to know me better. I posted on my Instagram story asking for different questions that y'all had, and you guys sent in a bunch of questions, so I wrote them all down on my phone notes, and I thought that today we would just go through some of them. Anyways, I think we should just get right into the questions. Okay, first question to start us off easy. How old are you? I am currently 24. My birthday is July 11th, 2000, so I'm a Cancer. And also, I just have to say, turning 24 this summer was the weirdest experience because I simultaneously feel like I'm very young, but also I'm getting older. I don't know, getting older is a weird experience. Favorite book you've read recently? So I've kind of been in a book slump lately, and I don't know why. Every book I read is just not quite what I'm looking for. So I haven't been reading very many books recently, but within this past month, I've read a couple that I really like. So I read Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver. That was exactly what I wanted. I just always love Elsie Silver's writing. I love her men that she writes. They're the perfect book boyfriends. Single dad, cowboy trope. It's always gonna hit. Absolutely loved it. Daydream by Hannah Grace was another book that I've read within the last month or two, and that book was also so good. I don't know if it was just because of the mood that I was in when I read it. I felt like her writing has gotten so much better, where the two characters were so human and very flawed, and they each had their own issues, but they were working on them and they worked on them together, and Henry Turner is so good. Okay, next question is, are you in college / did you go to college, and what did you study? So yes, I went to college already. I've graduated. Like I said, I'm 24, so I graduated from college when I was 19. I did an early college program, so that basically means I did dual enrollment. When I was in high school, I was taking college courses at the college campus for both high school credit and college credit, if that makes sense. And while I was younger, I kind of got interested in coding. I ended up doing a few summer camps. There's a camp called Code with Clossie. So Carly Kloss, the supermodel, she had a coding camp for young girls when they're in high school to go to a summer 2-week intensive. And I went to that 2 years in a row, and I really enjoyed that, and it made me kind of want to pursue coding or computer science as my degree. So I ended up getting a degree in computer information systems. Technically, I have a bachelor's in business administration and computer information systems, which is a mouthful. It basically means I took classes that were both business classes and computer science classes, and it's kind of a mesh of those two. So that question kind of leads into the next one. I got a lot of questions asking what was your college experience? I have a lot to say about this because obviously, like I said, I was in a dual enrollment program. I was able to graduate from high school, but I was really technically taking college classes, and they were counting as those college credits that I would need to graduate with a degree from college. In the beginning, I was 15 years old taking classes with other students who were 18, 19, 20. That was really weird because I was always so embarrassed to admit that I was younger. I really never told anybody that I was that young when we were in class. I would always just pretend oh yeah, I'm the same age as you guys. I graduated at the same time. I just couldn't really relate to those students because I just wasn't that old. I didn't have the same experiences. They would talk about parties, they would talk about drinking or doing drugs, and I just was I've never done any of that, you guys. I also think in college I was just so worried about getting through school because I was you know what, I'm not gonna make friends with these people anyways because I'm so much younger. It's weird, I can't be friends with people who are 20 years old. Even though the age difference between being 15 to 18 to 20 doesn't really seem that big, those are such different points in your life where you have to developed in a different way. So it is strange to be 15 and be friends with a 20-year-old. You just have no common ground because you're not in the same place in life. So I spent a lot of time alone, especially in the beginning. I couldn't even drive yet, so I would wait for my mom to pick me up from the college campus. So I spent a lot of time sitting in little back rooms doing homework, studying, watching movies, reading a book. I think that's part of the reason I'm literally so comfortable being with myself, because I spent a lot of time learning how to be with myself at that age. I basically never felt like I graduated from high school or started college because they were all one and the same. My college experience went really quickly. I definitely think there was a lot of really hard years when I was in college. There was certain situations that came up that were really scary to deal with when I was that young, and I think being that young surrounded by so many older people made me feel like I was older, but but then I forgot that I was actually still just like 16, 17 years old. I ended up graduating at the very beginning of COVID. So that winter was when I graduated from college, and it was like the most anticlimactic thing ever. I just remember my mom pulling up like the little online ceremony that they were having where my name flashed on the screen and had like little balloons going up around it. It was just the weirdest experience, and it didn't really feel like I had graduated because I didn't have that ceremony. Like there was nothing to mark the end of like being in school and graduating, and all of a sudden I was just like 19 and I was supposed to go get a job and like be an adult, and I was like, this is weird. Anyways, next, how tall are you? I had a couple questions asking this. I'm 5'4". I think I look taller in my videos because I want to look taller, so I like angle my cameras to make me look taller. My dream height would be like 5'7", but I am unfortunately 5'4", and my legs are very short. I think I have like a longer torso. My legs are so short. What's your favorite meal to cook? Favorite meal to cook is probably sushi. I love that you can like make your own sushi rolls at home. Sushi is like one of my favorite foods. I think it's just so fun to eat. I love eating it with chopsticks. I love being able to like put whatever I want in the roll and like roll it up by hand. And sushi can be so expensive sometimes, so it feels like it's more worth it to make it at home. Honestly, I crave sushi a lot too, so. Are you single is the next question. Yeah, I'm single. If I had a boyfriend, I would make sure everybody knew about it. I would be posting that man literally everywhere. Maybe not actually, but in my head I would be posting him everywhere, and I would be telling every single person who would listen to me that I had a boyfriend. I've made videos about this a few times, but I have never had a boyfriend. I think being in the high school, college experience that I had, it was super strange because, like I said, I was so much younger, so I wasn't about to date anybody that was like in college when I was technically a high school student, and I think that was just never my priority, honestly. When I was younger, I feel like my mom always made it a point to be like, it's silly to date when you're young. Now she says the opposite. Now she's like, come on, where's the boys at? Like, go get a boyfriend. Which is like, interesting. So I feel like I was embarrassed to even like somebody because I felt like I was supposed to be so just focused on school and doing well in school and all of that kind of stuff. And I never even wanted to tell anybody that I had a crush on anybody. I think at this point in my life, I'm very much like open to that idea of like dating somebody, getting to know somebody. But I also think I've grown very comfortable with like myself and who I am and being by myself in the way that like I would have to meet somebody who makes my life better with them in it. Not that I'm like pickier now than I would have been when I was younger, but I think I'm just like more comfortable with myself, and I'm not like scared to be alone, so I'm not like searching out and like looking for somebody. But yeah, if I met like a really cute guy and we got along, I would definitely date him. The next question is one that I get literally all the time, and it is, what is your job / is social media your full-time job / if social media is your full-time job, what was your job before doing social media? I currently have no idea what I'm doing with my life. Let me just start off with that. So when I was 20, I ended up getting a job at a car company, which is like so on brand for me, as a software developer. So that basically just meant that I like built and worked on their website for their electric vehicles. I was 20 years old, working on a team that was mostly men. At the time, it was also remote because COVID was still happening and everything was kind of like up in the air. So I worked from home. I was sitting at this desk here. I worked there for a year. That entire year was maybe the hardest year of my life. I would get online and I would have like breakdowns every single day. It was such a stressful job, and I felt like I didn't have anybody to relate to. I felt like I was living the life of like a 50-year-old when I was 20. Started to be like, wait, is this it? Like, this is my life? Is this what I'm gonna do for the next like 30 years? I'm gonna sit at my desk, I'm gonna get online, talk to these guys, go to meetings, have mental breakdowns because I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, the work was really difficult. Being a software developer is very technical. You're writing code out like in your computer, you're creating programs, coding constantly changes, there's always new things coming out, there's always new things to learn, and that was so stressful. And I also felt like I couldn't ask for help because I felt like that made me seem like, of course she doesn't get it, she's like a girl who's young, she has no idea what she's doing. And I was always so worried that they were gonna see me as like this person who was very, not incompetent, but like somebody that was like kind of holding everyone else back. I have so many memories of going to bed at like 5 a.m. because I would read all night long, because romance books were like my escape from that corporate like job life where I felt like I had nothing to look forward to. So I would read all night long if I could. I would go to bed at like 4 or 5 in the morning, and then I would roll out of bed and like hop onto my computer at 8 to start working. That was like not sustainable because I was like not sleeping and I was just like constantly so sad. So after a year of that, I ended up deciding that I needed to like quit, and that didn't really come easily because I felt like I have no idea what I'm doing, and I feel like it's disappointing to like my family who's like seeing me like get a job and only last 1 year to like end up quitting. After a lot of tears, I ended up quitting that job. It was the beginning of summer at that time, so I kind of gave myself the summer to figure things out. And I had been posting on social media before that, but that was when I really started like posting more on social media because I just had free time. And that was also the summer that The Summer I Turned Pretty came out, and I ended up posting about that, and that's when I gained quite a few of my followers. I ended up being able to start doing brand deals. I started making a little bit of money from social media, and that's when I kind of considered it more of like, okay, this could actually be a job. And now here we are. I still have no idea what I want to do. I still have no idea what I'm meant to do in this life. But I think I've also realized that last couple of years I live my life at like such hyper speed. I've just learned to have a little bit of grace with myself trying to figure things out. Also leads into like, do I consider social media to be my full-time job? I don't really consider it to be a full-time job because I don't make enough money to consider it a full-time job. But with that said, it is what I spend all my time doing. And I would love for it to be my full-time job. And I find so much joy and purpose with being able to like connect with other girls who are like me on the internet. Like I think when I get DMs from you guys, they literally mean the most to me. I think I'm sometimes bad at like how I come across via like messages like in DMs, because I always like want to convey I'm so grateful because I find so much personal connection with you guys when you reach out like that. I really do feel like I have like so many like best friends backing me up, and I keep up with some of you guys like in DMs because that means so much to me. Like I love that like friendship, the idea that you could create a space where people like me feel comfortable, like that means a lot to me, and I would love to make that my full-time job. So I guess that's kind of what I'm doing right now, is working on making that my full-time job. Which always sounds silly, like it seems very like frivolous kind of, and it seems very like unrelatable. Like I said, I didn't have very many friends like throughout my life. I've just never been somebody who has like a huge friend group or anything. I spend a lot of my time alone, and I think I always watched other people on social media, especially like YouTubers. Like that was who I felt like really connected to. Like I would watch them religiously, and I think the idea that I could be somebody that like people watch to bring joy into their lives literally means the most to me, and I never can like word that right or get it across in the way that I want to. I feel like having that be my purpose in life could be like genuinely the most fulfilling thing. Anyways, I feel like I just talked a lot about that, so let's move on to the next question. Who's your favorite actor or actress? Jennifer Lawrence. I love her. She's my favorite actress of all time. Obviously the obsession started in like 5th grade when I saw Hunger Games. I was already obsessed with the book, saw the movie. I remember the obsession being so strong. I wanted to watch everything that she had ever been in. I watched all of her interviews. I was just so obsessed with her. Somebody said Taylor Swift song that you relate to the most. I would definitely say The Archer, unfortunately. Also though, kind of depends on my mood, but I feel like most consistently, like just who I am, The Archer. What is the best compliment you've ever received? I think when people DM me and say that my like account or my like channels are their like comfort accounts, because I know how much having a comfort account means to me. Like I know the people that I go to when I'm like anxious or really sad or upset, the people that I go to and watch their videos, I know what those people mean to me. So knowing that like I could be somebody that other people go to and watch when they're feeling like they need somebody who's like comforting, they know that they can count on that. That is like the best compliment I could ever get, and like that genuinely means the most to me. Like I can never say it genuinely enough, but like when people send me that, I'm like I'm crying, but thank you so much, I love you. How many siblings do you have? I have 4 siblings, so there's 5 kids in my family. There's a lot of us. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters. The order of us siblings, it goes my oldest brother Evan, then Jenna, then Megan, then me, and then my little brother Nolan. We're just very close. We all just hang out all the time. Maybe that's weird and it comes off a little bit strange, but like I don't know, we just have the best time together. We also get in fights a lot though, like not to be confused. We fight a lot, but then we also just like get over it really quickly, and we're like, okay, we fought and I hate you, but like actually love you. Let's go to the movies, let's go hang out, want to go get coffee. We do that all the time. Number 1 book boyfriend definitely goes to Kate Eaton. He has to be the winner. I love that man with everything I am. If he was real, like that's what I'm looking for like in my husband. Like that's what I want him to be like. Dream job. My dream job has always been to be an actress. I think that I've felt that way since I was a really little girl. Like me and my siblings and all my cousins, we have a pretty big family. We used to put on plays all the time, and I would love being able to be like the lead, because I was like the only one who wanted to actually memorize all the lines, because I loved the idea of putting on a play. They would always make me the lead, not because I was like the most talented necessarily, but because I was the most committed. In high school, I ended up looking up like a local agent, and I ended up going and getting a local agent because I wanted to pursue acting. Like I was like, I'm gonna do it for real. And I ended up actually getting cast in a like local YMCA commercial. I have like the tiniest little part in that commercial. It's literally like 0.2 seconds of me, and we spent the entire day like on set in this little neighborhood filming for that like 2 seconds. And it was my 17th birthday that day, and it was the best birthday I've ever had in my life because I was so excited. I was like thrilled. I was like, this is it. This is the start of me being an actress. Everything was so exciting. Like I got to go inside of a trailer to change into my outfit, and there was a woman doing our hair. She like pulled my hair back in a ponytail, and I just remember being so absolutely thrilled. My mom was there. She took a bunch of photos of me like on set, and I just remember thinking like, if this is how excited I feel to like technically work on my birthday, then I feel like this is the right thing for me. I ended up getting paid like $700. That was my first paycheck I've ever gotten. The first money I was ever paid for a job was working on that commercial, and it was so exciting. And when the commercial came out, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit crushed. I was like, I'm literally in it for 2 seconds, but it was still like the coolest thing ever. Obviously I was in like high school / college at that time, and I was like, you know what, I have to take school seriously, because as much as my mom was like so supportive of me like doing anything, she was also like, you're gonna get through school and you're gonna graduate. Like, this is so important to me. You're going to graduate from college. So I never ended up like really taking it that much farther at that point, and I ended up just like really focusing on school. I did take a theater class when I was in school, like a college theater class, and I really enjoyed that as well. Like, it's something that I want so intensely, and I've also kind of gotten back into pursuing acting again, which is really exciting to me, because I think if you have a dream that continues to like occur in your life or come back to you in life, it's like something that's meant to be. I'm also like just delusional enough to think like that anything is pretty much possible if I put my mind to it. So we'll see. Who would be your 3 picks for fictional book, TV show, and movie boyfriend? Book boyfriend would obviously be Kate Eaton. He would be my husband. TV show would be Spencer Reid. Literally love him. I mean, there's so many TV show boyfriends that I would love to have, but like Spencer Reid, no words. I think movie boyfriend would have to be Jake from Sweet Home Alabama. I watched that movie when I was like 5 years old, and seeing the relationship between Melanie and Jake at 5 years old, I feel like that just changed something in my soul. Like, I think that's like when I started to love romance movies and TV shows and books. Seeing that movie changed me. Favorite book of all time. Hunger Games is the first book that I read that really got me into reading. When I was younger, I hated reading so much. I would literally lie about reading all the time. When you had to like have the little log books that said like, I read for 1 hour last night, and like your parents have to sign off on it or whatever, I lied about that all the time. I hated it. And then there was one day in 5th grade where we had won a full day of reading, which was like total garbage to me. I was like, this isn't a prize, this is like punishment. But anyways, so I ended up having to read a book, and I didn't bring any, so I grabbed one from my friend, and I ended up sitting down with Hunger Games, and I read that book so fast. I remember I was trying to avoid reading, and then I was like, I'm so bored, I might as well start reading this book. So I started reading, and I ended up not even eating lunch that day. I was like sitting at the lunchroom table just like reading. I took the book home with me, and then I finished it in like the next 2 days. I remember sitting in my closet with the light on, like reading so I could read at night, because I shared a room with my sister. That really started my passion for reading. Like, I started to realize that I loved reading if I was reading about like romance. At the time, the like books weren't even all out yet, so I was reading the second one, and I think Mockingjay was just coming out, and I made my mom go to the store and buy it. That was like the first time I ever made my mom buy me something. I was like, I need this so desperately. Yeah, that really started my like love for reading, and I was really obsessed with Hunger Games for a long time. I used to post memes about it on my Instagram. Like, I used to post stuff that I would find like on Pinterest. I used to religiously watch for updates for like the books and the movies, and that's I think part of why I just like love Jennifer Lawrence so much, because like the two were so like meshed together for me. I was like so obsessed with the books and the romance of Hunger Games, but I was also so obsessed with like the actors in it. I don't know, that was like such a fun time for me. I think that was also the beginning of me being such a big like fangirl of things, and being so like passionate about specific things and being kind of like obsessed. I really love that version of myself, like the girl in 5th grade who would stay up in the closet reading. Like, what a good time. Top 3 books. That is like the hardest question ever, because I can never pick which books are my favorite. I think Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. That book literally like changed my DNA. I love that book so much. Mariana Zapata books are always gonna be like very top tier for me as well. I think Wait for It by Mariana Zapata is probably one of my favorites. Luna and the Lie also weirdly is like another one of my favorites from her. And then I'd have to say Heartless by Elsie Silver. Unfortunately, I've reread all of those books at least like 4 or 5 times. All right, I think that is gonna be the end of today's video, because I feel like I've been talking a lot, and I don't think a lot of it even made sense. I'm gonna have trouble editing this video because I've been stuttering so much, so I'm gonna have to take out all the pauses. I don't know why I can't speak today, but anyways, hopefully you guys liked the video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you guys feel like you know me a little bit better now. I didn't get to answering all of the questions because there was like a lot of questions, but maybe I'll make a part 2 to this video, or if you guys want to comment any other questions that you have, you can comment them below. Also, if you want to follow me on any of my other social media, I'm gonna have it all linked below. I will see you guys in the next video. Love you, bye.